Okay, you're running away. Let's see who shows up. He's here. So I just decided to go live. Today was my first day back to work, sort of. Today was the first day of rehearsal. And I was supposed to edit a video and get it out today. And because I've been basically in prep yesterday until today, that did not happen. So I thought I'd jump on a live and see if anybody showed up. Hey, we got Roberta in the house. I see somebody's here. Oh, people are coming. People are coming. I'm seeing the numbers go up. So if you're jumping on the live, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. There's usually a way to just like click away from the video and hit the thumbs up. Just help me out a little bit. So as I said, I started work today again. Today was the first rehearsal for my next show. I work in theater for anyone new to the channel, so I work on a contract-to-contract basis. Excuse me. And a lot of my contracts have been shifting because of COVID, because they have to get approvals for like their shows and stuff. So, yeah, things keep getting shifted around. And today I actually started, thank you, Janine, for the $4.99 super chat. Always appreciated. Everything I get that doesn't go to bills goes to the build. Did I make a distinction between them? So that'll definitely be going to build funds. So yeah. So thank you for the $4.99. Every penny counts right now. And my next big thing is installation. I was talking about this the other day when I was in a Zoom with Patreon and YouTube memberships. Like, installation is the next thing on the list, so that's the next thing money is going towards. There was just stuff I wanted to get done before I hit up installation. The thing I don't like about the phone in this position, no, it's not gonna let me do it, is it won't keep the chat stream up. Let me see. All messages. There we go. There we go. Yeah, sorry about the picture. I mean, I don't know if it's the lighting or the phone or what. I do need to replace my phone because my phone won't charge unless I turn it completely off. Like, if it's on and I plug in my phone, it won't charge. The battery will just keep draining, but if I turn it completely off and plug it in, it'll charge back up. So I need to replace my phone. Not something I really wanted to have to spend money on right now, but such is life. That's the way it goes. D, thank you for reminding people that a thumbs up supports the channel. I see all the people greeting Mickey. I tried to get him to be on camera, and he fought me and ran away. Like a proper cat. He was like, no, I don't want to do this right now. He just ran past me to the back. Mickey, don't you want to speak to people, you little jerk? Gwen, thank you for the $14.99 super chat. Chanel, I'm glad you got to at least stop by and say hello. Oh my gosh, it's getting very dark. Let's see. It's so dark. You know what? We're going to go to the back because I can turn on a light back there and it won't be weird. And it's dark. It's dark. It's going to be dark for a while, guys. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. So I can turn on a light. Bam! Oh, it's yellow though. We can do better than yellow. Ew. It's so yellow. Okay, my coloring's better at this angle, so we're gonna stick with this angle. So spoiler, obviously, whoa! That is window number 2 over there. I haven't done the video about installing that window, but I installed that window. There we go. I installed that window with my friend Kiera, and now I have a cat who's right here. Hi, Mickey. Say hello. He's like, I don't want to. So we got one window. We got 2 windows. And there may be other surprises on the way. Like, I have a roof vent. I haven't done that video yet. I have a second roof vent. I haven't done that video yet. So I have a lot of build videos that I need to edit. Because I think the last video I did was that. And that was the first big hole I cut in this box truck, and I've cut a lot of big holes in this box truck at this point between the roof and windows. So I'm really trying to make time to get to those videos, because I don't want to like show everything before I show how I did it, because I am super proud of what I'm doing. And it's not going to be like the fanciest schmanciest like truck ever. But honestly, like, I am enjoying building my house and knowing that I know how everything is installed, how it's going to be installed, that my hands are actually going to be on everything. I'm like, even when I get help, I'm really enjoying the idea, like, I'm going to be the one to build my home. And even though, like, I kind of did a no-build build and then kind of a half build in the minivan, I didn't really rip it down to, like, its guts. You know, and luckily with the box truck, there wasn't much to do to get down to sort of the build surface. The car I didn't do anything to because I knew I wasn't going to keep it forever. And the Chevy Express van came to me sort of in form, and I did some revisions, but even that had never been, it wasn't a cargo van, so it was never down to its guts. It was basically like furniture was installed on top of what the passenger van was. So I'm actually really enjoying that I am going to be building this out, like, from, you know, some sort of base structure up to something. And as I install things like windows and roof vents, it really makes me happy. Alright, that was just me spieling on. Let me see if I can find a comfortable place to sit down, even though I can stand up, but still. It's so yellow and it's so dark. So anybody out there got any questions for me? Things they want to ask, say? I'm going to go ahead and scroll through here. Mickey is becoming a diva kitty. Yes, he was born a diva kitty. Andrea, thank you for clicking like and heading to bed. Pixelated, try not to move so much. What's the work schedule like these days? It's basically rehearsals about 4 to 5 days a week. And then eventually the show will open, but for the next about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm just going to have rehearsals. But see, the rehearsals 3 to 4 days a week are for the actors. I have to prep for rehearsals. I have to send reports after rehearsals. I have to send revisions when revisions about the things that happen in rehearsal happen. I have to send reports out when we have production meetings. I have to make notes about things that happen in production meetings so that we remember them when we're in rehearsal. And I have to make notes about stuff in rehearsal so that when I'm in production meetings, I can be like, but we need to remember the actor does this thing. So before we design that thing, we have to think about this thing. So that's basically what my job is like. Roberta says we've missed you too. Want to see videos. I might be behind the chat a little bit. I want to get to videos, and I'm actually putting myself on a schedule. It was not possible for me to get a video edited today, but like I'm putting myself on a schedule, and my goal is to put out 3 videos a week from now on. A lot of people are saying that things are pixelated, and I'm thinking it might be the camera in this phone. I really need to replace my phone. Like, this is not good news. But the audio is great. So the audio on this phone works, but the camera sucks. That's good to know. It's weird because it looks super clear to me. And I can't really open my laptop now to see what it looks like on another device. Janine Joy said, when will you hit the road again? Probably not before 2022. I need to finish the box truck, and I have one more contractual obligation to the theater here. So, like, I won't be able to afford or be ready to get on the road. I'm not going to get on the road with a half-ton done box truck. I mean, like, you're always changing your build, but this is going to be pretty much done before I'm on the road again. I'm honestly not in a rush. I have jobs here. I need the money those jobs provide before I can really go into next year and really quote unquote travel. So there's not going to be a lot of, I'm not going to force myself on the road prematurely. I feel like a lot of people rush their builds because they really, really, really want to quote unquote be on the road. But it's like, I already live in a vehicle. I already know what it's like to like go and travel and come back. There's no reason for me to rush myself right now to fulfill some, I don't know. I just don't feel like I need to be rushed. Like 2022. That's when I'll be back on the road. Until then, it's about work and getting the box truck where I want it to be before I'm on the road. And it's definitely not there yet. Gwen, how will you handle insulation for the floor? There's a lot of questions I have about really how much a floor needs to be insulated, like how much good it really does. I've been watching a lot of videos one way and the other, but basically what I'm going to do for, excuse me, what I'm going to do to the floor I already did. Like, subfloor is down. There is some underlayment under that, but it's not really a big deal to me. The walls and the ceiling seem to be more important for that than the floor. Like, from what I hear, the floor is always going to be like a little bit cold anyway. So I'm not super stressed about the floor. Don't say that. Alberta says, don't blame yourself. Best to be fiscally responsible. Exactly. Like, I do not have money put away right now. Like, at all. So, yeah. I'm not going to do a panorama of the box because a lot of people are complaining about the camera. So as much as I want to, I'm just not going to spin around in here because people have already complained about some issues with the camera. So I'm going to try to sit still. I'm also probably not going to stay on here like super duper duper long. Did I miss any like super chats? I hope I didn't. This is so weird because I usually do this on my laptop and I'm on my cell phone. And C says, I want to see your videos. Doesn't matter how trivial you think they are. That's the real van life while working and building. It's honestly not about it being trivial. It's just that editing takes some time because everything I do is in clips. So there's nothing where I record it and I can just drop it on YouTube. It's like I recorded this thing and that thing and that thing and that thing. And it's like 20 things that happened in the same day. So I have to edit to just put it together. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, watch me climb up this ladder and have no idea what I'm doing because the thing that tells you what I'm doing is a completely separate clip that I need to edit with this other clip in order for it to make sense. So it's a lot of starting and stopping the camera. So it's nothing where I can like record it and just drop it on YouTube. Like, I just don't record anything that way. And so like, I have to edit unless I do a, you know, this. D. Huffman said, are you planning to build or buy cabinets? Probably a mix. There's some stuff, in order for it to work, I have to build it. I don't want to, because I'd rather buy them. But for it to actually work in the space that I want, the way I want it to work, it would have to be built. Now, me building them, maybe me having a rough idea and then calling my friend Carla and being like, all right, I have this rough idea. Can you help? By the way, Ashley, who helped me with the window, she actually does do tech in theater. So she's one of my two, like, people I can call that kind of have skills with tools and can help Sometimes. A lot of the problem is, people have jobs, people have other obligations, so it's like when I'm available, they also need to be available, and we need to be able to connect, and we need to have enough hours shared to actually work together to do something. I don't really know a lot of people just sitting around not doing nothing that's like, yeah, I know how to use tools. So that's where the complication comes in. It's people being available when I'm available and I have stuff to do. And if I can actually do something by myself, even if it's going to take longer, waiting a week for somebody else to be available just doesn't make sense, because I could have had it done a week ago, even if it took me longer to do it by myself. So that's where the complication is, with sort of syncing up with people. I don't, people are busy. They have their own lives. They have their own things going on. They have jobs. So it's just kind of tricky sometimes. For people mentioning the subfloor is down. The only other thing I'm doing to the floor is I'm gonna put the final vinyl flooring over top of it, but otherwise nothing. The floor's done, done, quote unquote. Like the only thing going over the floor is the final floor. But the actual subfloor down, it's already been shown in photos. It's basically plywood with an underlayment on top of the wood floor of the box. The box does have a wood floor. It does not have a metal floor. So there's that. And I am not in a position to pull out the wood floor and have no floor in the box truck. Some people do that, but I always knew I wasn't going to do that. The bottom of the floor is wood. It's stable. It just wasn't pleasant to walk on. It was very splintery. It just wasn't a nice floor. So I basically put an underlayment over that, and then I put plywood over that, and plywood is basically what I have on the floor right now. And I'm going to frame in the kitchen and the bedroom before I put the final floor down, because it would be better to fit the flooring. The floor, I have planks, I have vinyl planks. It'll be better to fit that around the framing that I'm going to do for the kitchen and the bedroom, rather than go over top of it. It'd be better just to put that nice floor in the exposed areas around those two structures. So once those two structures are built, then the final floor is going to go in on top of that. And I concur with anyone who's thanking Dee for moderating. I'm sorry for any bad camera. I can't really switch cameras, unfortunately. Like I said, it looks clear to me, so I don't know how bad it looks on everybody else's end. Mickey snore. I've never noticed him snoring. If he does it very quietly. And don't forget Habitat for Humanity store for bargain deals on when the time comes. Yes, I know about the restore. I don't think the restore has insulation, which is kind of where I am right now. But as far as actual materials, and I don't know how much furniture I can buy for what I want to do. I have a very specific idea about what I want to do, and I don't know how much bought furniture can really play into that. For things to fit the way I want them to fit, and for me to have, because my biggest thing is the floor space that's left over. Not filling that floor space with as many things as possible. And it's nice to get already built stuff, but it can also take up more space than I want it to take up. So I really need to it's hard for me to imagine needing any sort of pre-built furniture until I at least frame in the kitchen and the bedroom, because I have very specific ideas about what that is, and then other stuff sort of works around that. Cart Gamer asked me, do I find stealth more difficult in the box? No. Not really, if I'm gonna be quite honest. I mean, I'm not gonna park anywhere where I would park in the minivan, but that changed when I got the Chevy van. When I went from the minivan to the Chevy van, honestly, that was a bigger change than this has been. Everywhere I park the Chevy van, I'm pretty comfortable parking the box truck, but I also haven't traveled in this box truck. Like, I know Berkeley, Oakland, Richmond, like I've been in this area so long, like having a pretty good idea where I can park a box truck overnight isn't that big of a deal because I know this area. It's one of the advantages to doing urban van life in an area you know. You can kind of feel it out a little bit faster. If I took this on like a road trip, I don't know, might feel differently about it. But as far as like local parking in an area I know, no, I kind of have a pretty good idea where I can park, and I still can park pretty randomly. Sometimes I'm just driving in an area and I'm like, noted, because that's a place I can park, and I'll just make a mental note of it, and I'll just swing around there during the night. And I was just driving in the neighborhood and paying attention and going, I think I could park there overnight, and then I do. So no, I haven't really found it more difficult. It's been pretty much fine. But it's like I said, I never expect to park where I parked the minivan. Like when I was in a car, I had the world was my oyster. It was a freaking car. As long as I was legally parked, I didn't really worry about it. When I was in a minivan, still, that's kind of a regular. A minivan is basically a souped up car. So, except I could put a bed in it. So again, I really didn't think about it. The world was my oyster. I could park everywhere. When I got the Chevy van, it was just a bigger van. It could still do some neighborhood parking. It was still kind of a passenger vehicle, but honestly, it was just big. And I'm not that comfortable with parallel parking in a regular car. So I was already seeking like bigger spaces once I had the Chevy van. And so the transition to that from the box truck has been less severe for me personally, because it wasn't like I was trying to squeeze the Chevy van into like tiny neighborhood spots anyway. I'd already kind of given that up. And then I also had the cargo carrier on the top of my Chevy van. So I was already too tall for a lot of things. Like when I had the Chevy van, I wasn't really using parking garages. The van itself without the cargo carrier would have fit fine, but because I had the cargo carrier, I was already kind of tall-ish. I wasn't as tall as the box truck. What the biggest difficulty with the box truck is really just mechanics. And it's not because there's anything specifically special about it. It's just a Ford E350, but it's tall. And so if it doesn't fit in their shop, they're just like, sorry, we can't look at it. Mobile mechanics are a little bit better because they can come to you, and at the end of the day, for them, it's just a Ford E350. But mechanics have been way harder than, and I'm sorry if there's a little shake. I'm holding this with my hand. Mechanics are more challenging than like stealth parking. I have all kinds of feels about quote unquote stealth, because to me, it's like, even when I was in the Chevy van and the minivan, it isn't about people not knowing you're in there. It's about people not being bothered that you're there and not expecting that you're going to stay there. And sometimes that's what it's about. Sometimes people aren't getting away with anything. People are just like, yeah, he's parked here tonight, but he never stays, so it's fine. And sometimes people really do feel that way. And sometimes they just don't notice. Sometimes they're so caught up in their own life, they just don't notice. So I have those feelings. I went on too long. Will decor inside be colorful, or have you thought that far in advance? I have not. I have a lot of ideas going on in my head. Roberta Spence, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Everything goes to the box truck. Julie says, Dawn, it was so good to see you had a friend to help you install that window. Even if you have someone handing you tools, it's helpful, but I know she did some cutting for you too. Ashley is amazing. But yes, sometimes it's just nice to not have to go up and down the ladder because you forgot a tool, or to be able to climb up without like 15 things in your hand. So I was so grateful for Ashley. I'm also grateful for my friend Kiera. Among other things, as long as I give her advance notice, sometimes I can send large things to my friend Kiera's house. So yeah, I've been very grateful for that. I'm going to try not to go on because I know I'm way behind in messages, and on the phone it's super awkward. Final Vinyl, Renee said, sounds like an album title. Beverly has a whole list of all the people that are doing cool stuff with new vehicles. um, Julianne says she'll probably have a lot of art and anime on the walls. That would be awesome. And that's actually awesome. I'm actually going to have walls. Again, sorry about the camera. I need to replace my cell phone. But I've never really had walls. Like, the minivan had windows in them that I couldn't use, and because I didn't fully cover them over, I just had, like, window covers in them. So it was like I had walls, but I couldn't actually use them. And so I had stuff on the ceiling, but I couldn't really decorate the walls. And then I had the Chevy van, which again didn't have a lot of flat surfaces for me to decorate the walls. So I'm looking forward to have walls that I can decorate with stuff. Especially stuff that really appeals to my nerdy self. So if you see a Star Wars poster, or like some anime stuff, like Full Metal Alchemist, which is one of my favorite animes, and Inuyasha, that's my other favorite anime, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see those on the walls, because I actually have walls, or I will have walls. Someone asked to see the tile wall. It's right there. It's peel and stick tiles. And like I said, the subfloor is down, so that's the plywood subfloor. Yep, so there it is. Oop, oop. I don't want to move the camera too much, especially because people are saying it's terrible. And Mickey's in the window! Look at him in the window. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Say hi, Mix. Yeah, say hi. How you doing, Mix? Huh? What are you doing? Do you like your house, Mickey? Really? Okay. Linda, I'm sorry I'm blurry. I think I need to replace my phone. The camera seems to be going in and out. Anna said, do you have commercial plates because it's a truck, or can you have regular plates? This is a commercial vehicle. It is registered as a commercial vehicle right now. Until I get further into the build and I actually think they'll qualify it as an RV, I'm just leaving it that way. It is insured as a commercial vehicle. Like right now, that is, what is it? It is insured as. Cassidy! Cassie, I don't know where I got to do. Cassie, thank you for the $20 super chat. Joanne hates live chats. I'm sorry. Julie X Dawn, do you have some items listed on your wish list? I have the wish list on pause because it's just a place of where stuff can go. I do have a mailbox, but I needed to have not as many packages come there for a while, and so I just kind of pulled everything off of the list. Yeah. That ceiling, Gwen says that ceiling vent fan is going to be great if it's above your bed. That one is going to be above my bed, and this one is above the kitchen. They're actually two different kinds of max air fans. This one is, this one is just an exhaust fan. Whereas this one can go either way. It can bring air in or push air out. I also have another fan. I'll just show it to you. I have another fan that was gifted to me in this window. So this is a fan I can use, and this will be right by my bed as well. And this is the remote to the Max Air fan. I didn't have them wired at first, and now I have them temporarily wired. It's not their final wiring, so that I can use them. Because we're going into warmer months, but then it decided to get chilly again. The Bay Area doesn't know what it wants to do. As you can see, I have on a coat. It's going back and forth, back and forth. The Bay Area is weird. The temperature's just weird. Like, it's never bad, but it's weird. Like, it's not, like, warming up, but it's not like super cold either. So it's still like I want to be bundled up at night, but every once in a while it's warm enough to turn on. It's weird. But I decided to prep the fans since we're going into warmer months, and probably by the time it actually gets warm, I'll have all the electrics really installed and not on temporary wiring. But right now they're just wired enough to work, and I figured I should do that just so I know that they work. So if they don't work, you know, I can replace them or whatever. But let's not put our finger over it. I'm sorry to everybody who's saying it's too blurry. The wish list is on pause until I know where stuff can go. And right now, I just need to control the flow of things to my mailbox. So that's why the list is not updated right now. And there might be another solution that was offered me. So I just need to work that out. See, this is why I don't really want to move the camera too much, because it just seems to blur the image. So I want to sit as still as possible. I got a question of where are you from? I am originally born and raised for the first 37 years of my life in Baltimore, Maryland. I moved to California about 3 years ago. So now I live in the Bay Area of California. So yeah, for the last 3 years I've lived in California. Before that, my entire life I lived in Baltimore, Maryland. Blue Exorcist. Sorry. Black Branch's Michelle Smiles mentioned Blue Exorcist. I just watched that anime and it was so good. Like, I was so intrigued by it. It had an interesting thing, second season, but yeah, that's a good anime. Okay, so this is more a vocal thing because I'm seeing like horrible view. Why does my camera look so clear to me, but it looks crappy on YouTube? SLR sent $5 for Mickey treats. Renee Sorensen says, Bay Area day trips, I always took sandals, bathing suit, sweatshirt, jacket, hiking boots. That's pretty much what it is. You need to be prepared for all the weather. Okay. Let me see. No Graven asked me if I have ever been to Boston. I have not. Raven says, voice is solid. I've been having phone problems. So I think it's just a camera on this phone as well. It's part of the problem. Rebecca says, watching you from the Bay Area. Shout out. Excellent. Jen says, I'm from Edgewood, right above Baltimore. My first apartment was in Baltimore on Park Avenue. Awesome. Sincerely Marie says, watching from Chicago. I want to visit Chicago. That's a big thing on my list. Adrian, also in the Bay Area. Shout out. Michael asked me if I like chitlins. I don't know if I've ever had chitlins, so can't answer that question. Miranda's mom said I almost ended up buying a sweater when I visited San Francisco. Yes, and San Francisco is like cold. Like San Francisco, California gets cold. What time is it? Okay. What's this? Helka Serenian says, don't eat them. I must be talking about the chitlins. Sincerely Marie says, Chicago is a mess. So when I get my RV checked out, I will relocate. Well, I just want to visit. I don't want to live there, but I do want to visit. Julie says, can you talk about you getting back to work? Your live title says back to work. Tell us about that, please. So basically, the rehearsals started for my show. So today we actually did a first read over Zoom, so we did not meet in person. Everybody is reporting. Well, you don't have to, but they've asked everybody to report on their vaccination status. And so I am scheduled to get my first shot on May 6th. And hopefully by the time the show opens, I will have had both shots. It's a series of one acts where we're going to have 2 to 3 actors on, in the same scene at the same time. So yeah, it's just that. I have to attend rehearsals, take notes on rehearsals, send reports after rehearsals, send out updated information about rehearsals. I have to attend all the production meetings. As a stage manager, basically, I'm the communication between what happens with the production team and what's going on with the actors on stage, and sort of the person that coordinates and makes sure everything is working on both ends, because the production team doesn't come to every rehearsal, and the actors don't know about the discussions that's happening with the production team. So I'm the one who has to note all the stuff that's going to happen on stage, so that if we're in a production meeting and they're like, hey, we want to do this thing, I can be like, but we need to consider that this thing and this thing. Or sometimes actors need hand props that aren't necessarily in the script. Like you're rehearsing the scene and the actor will be like, it'd be cool if I had a cigarette in this scene. And we're like, is it going to be a real cigarette? Or is it going to be a mocked cigarette? And then we have this long question about the impact of it being a real cigarette or not. That's just some of the stuff that happens. And then if everybody decides, hey, it would be great to have an actual cigarette. I don't know why I'm using this. It just popped into my head. Then we might go, well, if she smokes, do we need an ashtray? Or there's things in a script that seem really simple. It's they sit at a table, so you need a table and a chair. What size is the table? How does that work in the space? Is it something we're going to pick up and move? If there's a chair, what kind of chair is it? What is it made from? What do we have access to? What's going to cost us a lot of money, even though we'd like to have it? And so we need to revise that idea. That's the kind of stuff that sort of the stage manager makes notes of. And as people are making decisions, if somebody says something where it's well, we need to think about that because of this, the stage manager might be the person to bring that up. It's a really hard job to describe to people who have never worked in theater, because it's a very invisible job. People know what the lighting person does. They know what the sound person does. They don't realize there's a stage manager coordinating those two things to make them work together and work with the production as it was staged in the rehearsal room. I don't know. That's enough about my job. It's weird. So that was a lot of talking. Let me see if there's anything else I can answer. Michelle Christmas, who has an awesome last name. With love from Canada. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Oh, there's a lot of deleted messages. I don't know what's going on. Sincerely, Marie says, my son is an actor. He had a role in Judas and the Black Messiah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Julianne says you can use some of that fake bubblegum cigarette that you blow dust with instead of smoke. Yeah, but then the director might go, it doesn't look real enough. And so there actually are really good quality herbal cigarettes that a lot of actors will be fine with smoking if they're non-smokers. I've done a lot of shows with cigarettes, and there's a whole bunch of solutions. There's a lot of really good fake cigarettes out there, to the point the audience will think that it's a real nicotine cigarette, and it's not. There's electronic ones that would fool you if you were far enough away, because they actually do have smoke that comes out of them. The herbal ones are better because they'll actually disintegrate and light up like a cigarette a little bit more. They just don't have any nicotine content in them. So there's some really good substitutes for smoking a real cigarette on stage, because for some reason a lot of plays have smoking in them. This one, I think has one scene that mentions a cigarette. It has nothing to do with this actual play. It was just an example I was bringing up about sort of some of the stuff that pops up in rehearsal that words that a stage manager might have to negotiate. Renee says, is the theater performing live indoors? They are performing live outdoors. Just like my show earlier this year, it is going to be drive-in theater. We're going to negotiate sort of what our mask situation will be at that point. It'll be June when we go up. All the audience will be in their cars. The sound will actually be coming through the radio, which is really cool. You do it with an FM tuner, basically. And they tune into a specific radio station. And the actors will see. We'll see what we're doing as far as like masks and where everybody is with vaccinations by open and how we feel during rehearsal. We're going to avoid having people up in each other's faces as much as possible. There's a lot of stuff we don't know because the COVID situation is changing every day, especially the amount of people vaccinated versus people who aren't. JK says, do you have any desire to switch from plays to TV film production? I actually studied both in college, and it just happens that my resume is mostly theater. So as far as like getting actual work, it just turned out that theater jobs actually showed up more than film jobs. And I'm at the point where I don't really have enough film production to grab a lot of those jobs. So I would have to have a friend who gave me a chance. Like if the door opened, I would take it, but it's nothing I'm intentionally pursuing outside of doing YouTube videos, which is kind of the only place I'm applying my film degree is to YouTube. Linda Preston, thank you. Says, want to say hello. I'm really sorry about the terrible camera. Somebody told me to throw up a sheet. I don't have any sheets to throw up or anywhere to throw it or to hang it. That would be quite the production to even figure out how to do that. Miranda's mom said, I went to a play where the actors smoked real cigarettes and they had to warn the audience beforehand. I'm only shocked because most of the actors I meet are non-smokers. So as soon as we have a discussion about cigarettes, they're wondering what solution we're going to come up with so that they don't have to actually smoke nicotine. So that's just interesting to me because I know most actors wouldn't be interested in that. I mean, forget the audience. The audience is always going to panic. Even, we usually warn if there's going to be smoke. We usually warn even if the cigarettes are fake. If there's going to be actual like smoke coming out of the cigarette. But I just know a lot of actors, maybe because they're frou-frou California actors. But even I feel like a lot of the ones I knew in Maryland were non-smokers, so they were really sensitive about what we were going to use as a substitute cigarette. Before we even dealt with audience. I'm scanning a little bit now. Lisa Brazel says smoke can be tough on allergies. Yeah, that's another reason whenever there's going to be not even just smoking, but if you're using smoke machines or fog machines, you always want to warn about that stuff and flashing lights. Just because audience members can be sensitive to that. Hi, Mickey! He's like, pay me attention. Stop holding that phone. Did I miss anything? I feel like I'm missing stuff. Sasha wants to know, have I ever acted? No. I know I'm pixelated. I don't know what to do about it. I've been having a lot of trouble with this phone. Julie, I don't even know how to hang something. I don't know what I would hang it with. There's nothing to hang to. I would need some sort of attachment method that doesn't exist. Also, my sleeping bag blanket doesn't open all the way. It's one of those mummy ones, so it's round at the bottom. My niece was in a play where they had a gun with blanks. The audience was forewarned, but I still wet myself when the gun was fired. Blanks are actually still dangerous. Like, there are very specific rules about handling a gun that has actual blanks. In fact, if you can convince a production to use a sound effect and a mock gun instead of blanks, it's way safer. People have been hurt and even killed with blanks. So blanks are still dangerous. So you should not only warn, you should also be very careful about using them. People think blanks are way safer than they actually are. I had to go to a whole class on stage weapons. And so we had a lot of like, usually you load that gun like 2 seconds before it's going to go on stage. It goes in the actor's hand. The actor performs with it. It goes off stage. It goes back into a crew member's hand, and it is put away. Especially for a live performance. It's different for movies because they're going to stop a bunch of times anyway. But even then, you want it to go to a controlled handler the second it does not need to be in an actor's hand. So usually if you're seeing actors walk around with stuff like just strapped to them, those are just non-firing fakes. And then when they get to the scene where they have to fire them, then they will switch it out for the gun with the actual blanks in it. There is a lot of careful handling when you're using blanks because there actually is still something in the gun. So it could hurt you if you're not careful and you're not being smart. Yeah. Sailor Girl says, how are Mickey's whiskers? Mickey has the best whiskers ever. Like, he has awesome whiskers, considering, like, I got him with all his whiskers clipped. I'm sorry for anybody who was on in like the last 5 minutes or so. But at least I get to log back on and properly off. Thank you for everybody who showed up tonight. I am going to rest and try to do